and welcome to episode 3 of our podcast, The Leftover Pods. With me today is Lauren.
Hi guys.
Today we're going to be talking about the advantages and disadvantages of video games and board games.
Now there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages when it comes to board games, but one of the advantages I would say is that it helps sharpen people's minds, and it also helps develop early learning skills for kids, and it brings families together. But on the other hand of it, there's a lot of disadvantages because people can get over competitive, and also it can sometimes cause a lot of frustration and the game doesn't go to plan.
Most of the advantages of video games are improving the memory, such as playing Call of Duty, and getting your mind creative, such as like playing Minecraft, because you can use your brain to make stuff.
What stuff do you make in Minecraft though? Like how does that help in like sharpen your brain? What do you have to do to like help like sharpen your brain when playing Minecraft?
There are many different types of block types, colours, and you can like build whatever you want. So if you wanted to build a butterfly, you can build a butterfly. If you want to build a car, you can build a car.
So you can kind of like build whatever you're sort of feeling at the time then?
Agree, yes. It's a bit like Legos, but online.
Yeah, like a more sort of like digital version of it, I suppose.
Yeah, open world source.
Yeah. Now, as well as there being physical advantages and disadvantages of board games, there's also mental health advantages and disadvantages of board games, because sometimes depending on the type of board game, people can get rather frustrated and not really understand like the process of the game, or they haven't got the attention span.
Like Monopoly?
Yeah, kind of like Monopoly. Like Monopoly is one of those games where everyone plays it because it helps to like it helps you learn how to deal with money and like all that sort of thing. But like people can get frustrated with it because it's so long. So
it takes about an hour and a half or more.
If you know the rules, yeah. But if you're just like getting into it, like it's a bit of a hard game to deal with, and it's one of those games where it's also good for like children as well, because as I said, it helps them with like money skills and like knowing sort of how to like profit and that sort of thing. But on the other hand, there's also like the disadvantages of it, like on mental health, because people can sort of like start to get really over obsessive, and they can start to constantly want to play it and like always want to do it, and they can get really over obsessed, and then like just constantly not think about anything else, and they can start like creating like worries out of things they've seen on the game.
Yeah.
It like with Minecraft and what we were saying with that, with like the advantages of it being that like it allows you to like sharpen up like your brain and that sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing with mental health, isn't it? Like people use it as an escapism, I'm imagining, do they?
Maybe. I know we sure do at home.
Like people like tend to use like Minecraft, especially, I would say, as like an escape from like the real world, because they
reality.
An escape from reality, and they can get away from like their everyday problems and sort of create like their own sort of world, I would say.
Yeah, a world of their own.
Yeah, with like less issues.
If they want to kill cows, they can kill cows. If they want to kill pillagers, they can kill pillagers.
What is a pillage?
Baddie Villagers.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
It's one of the older updates.
So, what would you say, Willow, is a disadvantage of video games?
An example in Minecraft, if there's lots of baddies around, like zombies, skeletons, creepers, spiders, they'll come at you all together at night, and you only have a wooden sword. That's really bad, and you'll get frustrated.
And would you say for like games with like, did you say for like games like Call of Duty and that, would you say it sort of encourages like bad habits in people?
It can if you're not the right age to play it, or if you don't have the right brain cells to play it.
Yeah, because I can imagine like a lot of people get obsessed with like the idea. People after playing it like would have nightmares or something, like you say, if they're not the right age like to play it, or they haven't like grown the maturity like yet to be able to play it and actually understand that it's a game. Like, would you say that a lot of people like tend to have nightmares over it?
I think some do, some don't.
It's sort of just like depends on like the mentality, would you say?
Yeah.
And like and I would say like what's another good like example, Willow, of a game that you would say that people that like play that aren't the right age, like it wouldn't have a good like effect? What would you say is another good example?
GTA.
Yeah, GTA is another good one, because I certainly know, like I know one of my cousins, like going on a bit of a tangent here, I know one of my cousins like plays it, and he's definitely not old enough.
I think you've got to be 18 plus.
Yeah, it's an 18 plus game, and my cousin, who is 10, I think, like,
You should definitely not be playing it.
plays it, and he also plays like other games, and like I've definitely seen, like, out of the way he talks and out of the way he is with us, and out of the stuff he draws and the way he acts and everything, I certainly think that it's to do with the games he's playing, because he's picked up like habits from these games and the way of thinking because of these games, and I think there should be more to be done to make sure that like children and like people that shouldn't be playing these 18 plus games aren't actually playing them, because it's dangerous, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but if you're like, you get it for Christmas and you're like, for example, your cousin's 10, if their parents give that to them at Christmas, and that's their parents' fault, because you can't buy it because you're not the right age.
That's what I mean. There needs to be more sort of like there needs to be more done by these people who actually make these games, and sort of say to them like, you need to make sure that you tell children in schools, like have even like a lesson in like primary schools that sort of tell children what each of the little things mean, because you know they have like the markers on the front of the video games which tell you like the age and what's in them, so like it tells you if it's got like blood and gore, or it tells you that sort of thing on the front of the box, doesn't it, when you first get the game. I think there should be a thing where basically it should be taught in the schools what each of one of those things actually mean, because I don't think a lot of kids actually know like what the meanings are.
I certainly didn't.
No, I didn't, but I think because I've always sort of grown up like with like a mentality like a lot older than I am, I can handle an older game that isn't around my age, but because I've got that much maturity, but if someone like my cousin who hasn't been brought up like I have and hasn't got that grown up like mentality, like he has the mentality of the age he is, and because of that I don't think like there's enough, I don't think he understands what each of the things on the games actually mean.
Agree.
Like for example, have you got cousins that like play games that they probably shouldn't play?
No.
Have you ever played a game and when you was little that was like older than you are?
Yeah, but we had to turn the volume down.
What have you played that's okay? Can you remember what it was?
We played the GTA game on the PS1.
Oh, that's a well old one, that is.
Yeah,
Is it like the first ever GTA game?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
Oh.
I think my brother used to play it.
Because also another good example of like a game that I've definitely played when I haven't been like around the right age, but because I've had the mentality, I've like been alright to play it. Is the Walking Dead.
Never played it.
It is a really good game, but like then again that's an 18, so like it is another one of these games that I think if my cousin played it, for example, going back to my cousin, if he played it, I think it would be really bad because he would pick up like bad mentalities.
Yeah.
And things like that, and there's so many like things that can be taught from video games that shouldn't be taught. Like, don't you agree?
Yeah.
But like the whole idea of like the fact that in the Walking Dead games, it's like very very sort of gory, and there's a lot of bad language and like all of like that sort of thing, and like even just like the bad language thing, it allows people because they've seen it in the video game, they're allowed to like repeat it, or that they're allowed to like say it or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of younger like people have picked up a lot of their mentalities from things they've watched or things they've played.
Yeah.
Like,
or who they watch on social media.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like the things they're watching, or like the things they're like taking an example of, like, or rubs off on them, and it's not necessarily in a good way.
Yeah, I know my cousins at home, they watch this Minecraft YouTuber, Tommy Innit, and Dream, and they like watch it, but they know they're not allowed to say the bad words. They can watch it, but don't say it.
Yeah. Is there any like similarities in terms of the benefits on mental health, would you say, between board games and video games? Like, is there anything that like both of them have in common that is like a good thing for people?
Talking to people.
So like basically like developing like communication skills.
Yeah, and listening skills.
And would you say like teamwork sort of skills as well with like some games?
Yeah, on some games definitely.
What would you say is a good example of like a game that like has like teamwork in it that you need?
Some of the games could be like Minecraft or Roblox, because if you need to like somebody destroys a tree and somebody else makes the farm.
Yeah, and also I feel like going back to what you were saying earlier, the whole idea of like at night on Minecraft, there's obviously a lot of like things that come out and try and attack you, and if you're with another person, you can sort of communicate to them and sort of say, right, you take these ones, and
yeah,
I'll attack at the other. So you sort of split like the idea down the middle, don't you?
Yeah.
And like I'd say that's similar with like board games in the way that like it does develop communication, because like going back to like talking about like Monopoly,
Yeah, and if you don't want a property, it goes up for auction.
Yeah, and you have to and you have to like talk to the person who does the auctions and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that's like a thing that sort of runs like alongside both of them. Like what else would you say is like a comparison between the two, which is a benefit?
Not quite sure.
I would say probably a benefit for both would probably most likely be like it would develop like a companionship for like elderly people anyway that don't see like loads of people on like a day-to-day basis. It brings like people together and it brings like families together.
Yeah.
And like going back to the elderly thing, if you're like an elderly person, like that time you're playing the board game, or you're playing like, or you're playing like something with a load of people around your age, it just brings like friendships together and brings people together that you probably wouldn't normally speak to. Like,
Yeah.
I would say like, didn't you agree with like things like Minecraft and that? Because you can obviously get like Xbox Live. Like, do you tend to speak to people that obviously not all the time, but do you tend to like speak to people that you don't necessarily like know over Xbox Live? Like, do you tend to speak to new people?
Yeah, but I tend to play on like Minecraft online servers on the PC.
Yeah, the online servers is like another good example of bringing people together as well, though, because you can like obviously talk in the chat column, and even though they've got like restrictions on it, so you can't swear, you can't say all of that sort of stuff, it does sort of allow people to play together from like all around the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and you all have like
connection issue.
Yeah, and you all have like an interest in the game, and you know how things work.
And you can all sort of like bond over that interest, don't you think?
Yeah. That's game over for today, folks. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. We are The Leftover Pod, and thank you for listening.
Bye.